Y'all can be mad at me all you want for what I'm about to say, but you know what? I don't care. Stop promising your kids pets. I don't think any human being under 10 is ever going to be responsible enough for a pet, and I know you know it. That's why you don't give them anything before then. Because, can I have a dog? No. Can I have a cat? No. Well, maybe we should run to a pet retailer and bug the employees about what caged pet is best for a 5-year-old. And you know what? I'm tired of it. Guys, 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 4-year-olds, I don't care. Anything under 10, I don't think understands truly what it takes to take care of a pet, so they don't need one. Parents are always rolling up in the store like, oh, I promised my kid a hamster. Oh, I promised my kid a gerbil. Oh, I promised them a lizard. I don't care. Stop promising your kids pets. They're living creatures. They don't deserve the torture that a majority of kids are going to put them through. Now, if the pet is actually for you, but you're saying it's for the kid so the kid can be happy, but it's for you, fine. But I'm going to say more than half the time, we get parents that are just coming in to fulfill a promise to a child and don't know anything about the animal. It happens way too often, and you know what? Us pet retail employees, we feel bad for the pets, and we're sick of it. The other day, a lady came in, and her daughter wanted a hamster. I think it was with her birthday money, because the mom kept telling me how much the girl had. She kept going, my daughter only has $75. What can we get with that? Off to a bad start already. It's like, okay. Sent my coworker back there. They got the hamster. They bring it back up. I straight up asked them first, before I even rang anything to register, is this a boy or a girl? It was the mom, a guy, I don't know if that was her husband, her brother, whatever, and the daughter. And all three of them looked at me. This tells me they just went, I want that hamster. They didn't even think about the gender or anything like that. So I'm like, okay. So I call my coworker, get the proper thing, find out it's a girl, punch it into register. It's a teddy bear hamster. And if you guys don't know, teddy bear hamsters can be like that big. They can be little chunks. It's a lot of fluff, but they're still kind of big. And they brought up the basic KT cage. If you guys don't know what a KT cage is, don't buy one. Okay? I hate those cages. I think it's just because the colors are like Fisher Price toys and the colors bother me, but also those cages advertise that that's enough room for cesarean teddy bear hamsters. The cage is like this big, y'all. Stay with me. This big. I'm going with the screen to help you. The hamster is this big. After you put the food bowl, the water bottle, and some place for it to hide, there's no room for the hamster to exercise. And 8 out of 10 families do not take their hamsters out to properly exercise them. So I tell people, do a bin cage, do a tank cage. Forget the KT cages. They're not big enough for anybody. Oh, and oh my gosh, people thought they could put gerbils in there. And this lady did not believe me and my coworker. We said the gerbil will chew through the bars. She was like, oh, it'll be fine. What happened a week later? Gerbil chewed through the bars. Half the customers come to us for every question, and then the other half don't believe we know what we're doing for some reason. Let me circle back to the story. Anyway, lady has a KT cage. She's dead set on buying it. At this point, I really want to take the hamster away and put it back in its habitat at the store. But I don't, because they're getting fussy. They're already mad at me because I told them they had to fill out a purchase card. A purchase card is something you have to fill out at the majority of pet retailers with name, email, address, all that stuff to verify that you understood the terms and conditions of buying the animal. And she's already fussy about not filling it out, so I wasn't trying to fight her about the cage, but I'm feeling guilty about this hamster. So I start talking to the daughter. hoping to get through. Sometimes if I can't get through the parent, I can get through to the child. This girl wasn't like a child. She could have easily been like 12, 13. An age they can understand what I'm saying. But the daughter is so focused on the anger of her mom as the mom is sifting through what she says is her daughter's money. So I'm like, okay. Then the mom goes, hey, does this hamster need a mate to make babies? Or do they like lay eggs or something? I held my tongue because I'm at work. What I really wanted to say was, this is a mammal. And you know what? You're not allowed to have it anymore just because you asked that question. And I should have took that hamster and put it back. One lady called and was like, hey, do you guys have lizards? And when someone says that on the phone, now I've been working in pet retail for about 6 years. And when someone says, hey, do you have any lizards? And they don't specify what they're looking for, that probably means they don't need whatever they're about to ask for. Because if you don't know what specific lizard you want by the time you called me, you don't need one because you should have done the research to know what lizard is best for you. And I knew this lady didn't. Then she proceeds to say, what lizard is best for a 4-year-old? Newsflash, people. 4-year-olds don't need pets. Hold every animal like this, and that drives me nuts. So now I'm like, ma'am, there's no lizard good for a 4-year-old. Then she starts to go down the list. She's clearly on the website by now. She's like, oh, what about a leopard gecko? What does that need? And then I go through everything it needs. And she goes, that's a lot. Guys, leopard geckos are simple. If you would like to know more about their simplicity, leave a comment below because I have one, so I know everything that a leopard gecko needs. And that's the simplest one we have in the store. Then she's like, what about a bearded dragon? And I'm like, ma'am, that's not a good match. The babies are really fast. You have to feed them live bugs, and you're going to need at least a 40 breeder tank. I already know what to say to turn off people who don't need the pet. I've been doing this long enough. There's a kid screaming in the background. She goes, oh, well, I'll just come in. Great. So I'm like, I'll be happy to turn this lady down in person. Long story short, she comes in. She's telling me how she promised her nephew a pet. And I tried to at least convince her to get a fish. One single fish, not multiple fish. One fish. After she realizes how much taking care of any of the animals cost, she just leaves with the kid. People are always like, oh, why does this fish cost so much money? And they were usually referring to the food, the tank, the filter, and everything. And I'm like, because it doesn't belong in your house. You're trying to recreate habitats for animals that don't belong in your house. It's gonna cost money. None of these animals are supposed to be living with us, but humans, we like to, I don't even know, like, take care of stuff that doesn't belong to us? I don't know. That seems to be a thing. I know I shouldn't be talking because I got all these pets, but I do proper care management. I do my research. I try to give them a happy life where they don't have to worry about being eaten all the time. Kids don't need pets. You know what? Half of y'all adults don't need pets either. One time a guy came in with his kid and he was looking at our water dragon. Now this particular water dragon we had was extremely mean and fussy. So he wasn't easy to sell to anyone. So the guy stops me. I'm putting stuff up on shelves and he stops me and goes, how much is the water dragon? Side note, why don't you look before you ask me? Just wasting my time. Like the price is right there on the glass. Let me calm down. So I tell him the price of the water dragon. And he's like, yeah, I want to get it for my daughter. Guys, this little girl at this point is in the corner just spinning in circles. She's like 4. I look at her, look back at him, and I'm like, have you ever had a water dragon before? No. Do you know anything about them? No, well, you can tell me. And I looked right at him and I was like, no. I think you should go home and do your research before you decide to get this animal, because they're really easy to kill if you don't know how to care for them properly. Oh, well, can I hold it? No. No, you can't. I was very mean that day, but I think I was just very clear. I don't remember what else happened that day that had me fed up with people, but that needed to be done. Because he did leave without that water dragon. He did not come back for it. Why do I still work in retail? You know, if it wasn't for the animals, I would have lost my mind by now. That's why I have all these pets, because if I didn't have them, I would have lost my mind by now. As much as we love to help the general population find their new animal best friend, we don't exist to give lectures in store about how to take care of a pet. It would be cool if we had those, because then maybe we could actually get a bunch of people in one place, give them the lecture on pet care, and then have some people turned off by what we said. But people, again, constantly coming in to this retail environment where there's 500 things to do and 500 other people need help, and you want me to walk you through every step, every fact about an animal that you're about to impulse buy? No. Go home. You know what? You don't even gotta go home. Go sit outside on a bench, on a curb, with your smartphone that I see in your hand. Google everything yourself, and then anything you don't understand from your research, then come and ask me. I'm not gonna sit here and walk you through every step of pet care because you want to get a bearded dragon because you're bored. No. Sorry about that, guys. I had to get that out. I have at least 500 more stories about my experience in pet retail, and I don't think they're going to end anytime soon. So if you'd like to hear any more of my terrible customer experiences, leave a comment below. And these were stories just in the small pet tank section. I haven't even gotten started on the stuff I hear in the dog and cat section. So if you want to hear those, like this video, leave a comment below, because I got at least 500 more of these.